Greetings, people. It's Jared here, Wolfgang1, back to do another Transformers review. Today, I'm going to take a look at Generation 1 Targetmaster Cyclonus. Now, the reason for this is because, as you saw in my last collection update video, I finally got a Targetmaster companion for him. I managed to re-sticker him completely, tidy him up a little bit, because he was looking a little bit grubby and a little bit old, shall we say. But then again, I mean, the figure is like sort of 30-something, 36 years old, so I'm not entirely surprised. But having brought him back to life with like sort of stickers and a companion, I thought now would be the perfect time to take a closer look at him. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the review for Generation 1 Targetmaster Cyclonus.
Okay, so here is Cyclonus in his alt mode. He transformed into a futuristic Cybertronian jet thing. Now, I'm sure, as you're all aware, where his character comes from in the Transformers movie, he's created using the defunct and wrecked bodies of Decepticons, and I'm not sure. I can't remember the argument. It's either Bombshell or Skywarp or some shit like that gets reformatted into him. I don't remember the scene exactly, even though I've seen the film hundreds of thousands of times. And he, unlike most Transformers of the era, Cyclonus and a lot of the other movie characters were designed from the animation model first, so the toy makers had to take some liberties with what the final design came out with. And Cyclonus isn't that far off, actually, from his animation model. I mean, he's got a massive head, he's got a massive head, and a very, very long nose cone. But then again, in all mode, but then again, that's reflective of the actual character in the film and the third series. Let's have a look at some of the things that Cyclonus came with. Let's put him to one side for a second. Targetmaster Cyclonus, because this is the second release of him. Cyclonus would have come with this little fella, and this is his Nebulon partner Nightstick. And let's see if I can there focus. This isn't the original. This is a reproduction. If you watched my collection update video quite recently, you'll know that this is a reproduction version. So as a result, there's a bit of paint chipping on him. See if I can get that to focus. Would be nice. There we are. There's a bit of paint chipping on the legs already. I've only had it a few days. There's a lot of paint chipping around the barrel, like the handle of the gun, things like that. I mean, these weren't massively expensive, thankfully. And all they are is basically, I guess, placeholders for the time being until such time that I can get the original, but the original will probably cost a lot. And the transformation for this is exactly the same as it was for the original. You basically bend the bastard at the waist, flip him around, and then that's allegedly the gun mode. Now, the gun looks awkward as fuck. The actual Targetmaster that came with Cyclonus from the Universe line was much better, and actually suits the toy over there a lot better than this. The only trouble is he doesn't hold it too well in robot mode, barely holds it in vehicle mode. And basically what you do is, as I said, this is the second release of Cyclonus, so it came out in 1986, the original. This is the 1987 release, and basically to make it a Targetmaster, what they did was they moulded in a hole just here for Nightstick to sit in alt mode. So basically that's him in attack mode with his Targetmaster companion. Now I'm sorry, but that looks like shit. It always looked like shit. Even when I was a kid, I didn't really like the look of this. Fucking around with the Universe 2.0 version. So there we are. There's Nightstick 2.0. Slot him in the same spot. And he just kind of the flatter design looks much better for this and a lot of the Generation 1 Targetmasters. That's why I ended up getting loads of these. But we're not talking about this guy. I'm just saying that looks better. That's a personal preference, really. You might disagree. So this is exactly the same toy as the 1986 version. It's the same. Hang on, let's come out a little bit. There we are. It's the same toy as the 1986 version. It's the same mold, same design. All that's different is the hole just here to accommodate the Targetmaster in all mode. And this is actually, I think, the fourth Cyclonus I've had. The original I had when I was little. When I got back into collecting, I had a second one, but I gave that to Exaggerated Energy as a gift because he was a fan of the toy and the character. And then I bought the third one, which is the standard Cyclonus for my collection that I've got complete. And then I got this guy, which is the Targetmaster version. So, yeah, I think that's, in terms of this mold, this is the fourth one I've got. I've also got the Kingdom version and the Universe 2.0, which I'll do a review on the 2.0 again at some point in the future. But yeah, this is the original Cyclonus in his alt mode. I might take some comparison photos actually and stick it up on the gallery on Facebook. I'm not sure if I can be asked, really, but we'll see. And you know, he's very flat. He's very flat in both vehicle and robot mode, actually. Robot mode, I'd say, is probably flatter than this, obviously, because you've got this back section just here. And the colours on this are still really sharp. There's no like sort of discoloration or anything like that. I've recently rep-labeled it as well, which really does just like make it look a lot sharper than it already does. Some joints are a little loose, like these wing hinges just here. These metal hinges are quite loose, but then again, this is now quite an old toy. And I'm actually surprised that it's managed to stay in as good a condition as it has done, quite frankly. Visible head syndrome on the bottom there. A nice little panel to hide that probably would have been nice. I mean, it wouldn't have been that difficult. When you transform it, just flip the panel up, just that, whatever. Everything else is like, apart from the purple, everything is like in a grey plastic, so not much discernible detail there, apart from a little bit of sculpting on the wings and whatever. And yeah, I've always really liked this toy. I used to play with this for hours as a kid. It was always one of my go-tos, even when I lost the Nightstick toy. Now, one thing I will say about Nightstick is this one, as I said, is quite loose in the joint there. The Autobot Targetmaster companions had see what I mean? The Autobot Targetmaster companions had a pin going through their hip section just here, which sort of stabilised the transformation. The Decepticon ones, all they had to rely on was friction. Hence why you'll notice Generation 1 Aimless that I've got is sheared off and snapped just here. If there'd have been a corresponding black piece over this here, I dare say that would have snapped as well. But this is relying on friction, and as a result, there's not a lot holding it together, quite frankly. I'd be tempted to try and get a little bit of glue on that to stiffen it up, but you know, it's not a massive concern for me. Yeah, so that's Cyclonus in his alt mode. Looks quite menacing with the cockpit shape, and obviously the stickers facing the same way. Looks quite menacing, quite threatening. I think, considering that he was designed from animation first, and then the toy makers had to try and make the best of what they were looking at, I don't actually think for the time they did a really bad job at all, quite frankly. So yeah, so we're going to take him to robot mode. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. There we are. And for the robot mode for this guy is quite simple. So you fold down or fold in this. Hang on, focus there. Fold in this landing gear just like that. That basically completes his chest in robot mode. Pull out these two sections just here. Actually, what you could do before that is just bend that down so you can get these two panels open. These two panels here are the most pointless part of the transformation. They serve no function, no aesthetic function, nothing like that. They just open up because you can. And then basically extend those two sections down and lock them into place. Like that. Nice little ratcheting joints there. And then these two sections just here, fold those forward. That forms the feet. That's basically the legs done. Okay. Then something I should mention actually before we go any further is these wings are actually detachable. I never worked out why that was the case, but I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So for this section, we want to take the entire back assembly just here and push it down and fold it out, okay? Just like that. And then spin it 90 degrees clockwise like that. Same on this side. Pull it out, and around. Then we want to move these two wings back around like that. So it goes around the back. Gets stuck sometimes on the tail fin just there, but whatever. And then snap back this nose cone section just here, fold it all the way around to the back like that. Stand the figure up, and this is the last part of the transformation. Again, a completely throwaway section of transformation, but I quite like it. The shoulders just here, move the entire arm assembly up a little bit, and that is Cyclonus in his robot mode. Now, as I said, he's got a massive head, an absolutely massive head. I'm glad that the proportions of AW worked out a little bit better on the more recent versions of the toy. But as I said, this is the first time they attempted this, and you know, apart from his massive head and his massive hands, I mean, he hasn't got real molded hands. He's just got things that maybe look like hands. His proportions are fucking all over the place, quite frankly. But there is something about it, especially when the colours look this good after so long. I mean, like the face sculpt, for example. Let's see if I can get a little bit of light on that. The face sculpt is fantastic. even back for those days, the face sculpt there is absolutely excellent. I need to add some Decepticon symbols to him. Actually, I might add another silver one just here on the chest or whatever. But yeah, that is Cyclonus in his robot mode. Now, as I said, he can hold Nightstick, so we get Nightstick's legs, put him back together, transform him by bending him, and then stick Nightstick in a corresponding hole in his hand. Now, in order to keep Nightstick in gun mode, I'm going to have to move the arm forward a little bit, like that. Yeah, it doesn't look great at all, the Nightstick companion in gun mode. It looks like he's carrying a box, quite frankly. So, yeah, that would be Cyclonus in his complete Targetmaster mode. Despite the fact that the Targetmaster looks like absolute shit, actually, in either mode, either alt mode or robot mode, when he's holding it, it looks like crap. I've got to say that there's something about the 86, 87 version of this toy that I've always liked. Yeah, it's hard to... Is it the design? Yeah, I think so. The colours definitely help. Let's get rid of Nightstick, because he is a piece of shit, quite frankly. In terms of articulation, the arms will go around a full 360 if you get that wing out of the way, like that. The legs, actually, just to show the articulation for legs, I'm just going to pop the arms off. This is what the toy does for no reason. No reason it does that I can determine. The arms are easily can easily go back in here. When I first did that as a kid, I thought I broke it. I nearly had a fucking heart attack, right? But that's the way it was designed. I don't know why, but it works. So leg articulation, nothing in the head because it's all molded in. Articulation wise, the leg will go out that far and go back that far. That's quite interesting. And it does bend at the knee in a very, very strange way. So if you could actually get him into some sort of pose like that. Let's put his arms back on. Like that. So, I mean, you can actually have him kneeling down, but he doesn't have a lot of stability, even though that's worked first time. Who knew? Go fuck yourself. But yeah, he's got articulation probably where you wouldn't expect to see it. And for a G1 toy, the fact that it had articulation at all is, is points in its favour. Apart from that, there's not a lot else to say about it. I've always liked the toy for whatever reason. I'd recommend you get one because it's part of that era, especially the original version, the 1986 version. It was part of that era where they were moving away from Diaclone import licensed molds, and they were Hasbro were designing their own shit with various degrees of success. I will come on. I mean, Scourge was another one. He is very much varying degrees of success. Rodimus Prime, Galvatron, Springer, blah 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 blah. This guy is one of their attempts at doing it themselves. Definitely points for effort, I think. He's not entirely successful. I mean, he's awkward as fuck. He's awkward as looking at, yeah, no doubt about it. But he is also at the same time fun, and ultimately, I think that's all that really matters. So yeah, that's my review, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching this review. This is Gerald Gavin Barry, also known as Wolfgang1, saying I'll be back in the near future with more reviews, more some days, more I don't know, other shit. I don't know what I'm doing at the moment. But yeah, do leave a like, subscribe, comment on the video. Click the bell icon to, I don't know, be notified about whenever I get up and have a piss. I don't know how all that shit works. But yeah, this was the video. I'll see you again soon. Until then, take care. And when tomorrow comes